You've told us nothing of this place.
Well, no shit. Alright, between dev interviews and investor presentations, there's been some new information on Arc Raiders, which includes some lore, some tidbits about gameplay, as well as an upcoming playtest. Now, I'm going to try to drop that information quickly and give my thoughts on some of the stuff that we found out. Depending on how close you follow the development of this game, you may or may not know some of these elements. Either way, let's get to it. Alright, one of the noted pieces of information that we got would be that the game would no longer be free to play. It is going to have a $40 price tag as of the time of that interview. Now, the devs did note their reasoning behind that, in that it allows them to focus more on making the game good as opposed to trying to monetize various factors of the game. I'm sure we can all kind of relate to that. However, we probably all can think of a game that had a price tag up front and still had microtransactions afterwards. So time will tell on how well that's going to play out. While I do believe there is a downside to not being free to play, i.e. not acquiring as many players up front to try out your game, the upside is of course directly curving away cheaters because of the price tag that they have to pay every single time they get banned. So we'll get to see how all that plays out, you know. A couple of other points of information about the game itself: that the devs don't currently know what the max lobby size is, and players will, quote, backfill like other titles, end quote. The notion of backfill implies a start time, so probably not continuous servers like the Cycle Frontier or Grey Zone Warfare. Now, what backfill means exactly in the context of Arc Raiders, I don't know. However, when I hear it said like that, I think of scav runs from Tarkov or covert ops from Arena Breakout. This essentially is you getting a free random loadout, playing as the AI, dropping into a raid after its start. The curious thing here though is that in those other games, the AI are other humans, whereas here the AI is not human, it's the robots. So how that's going to play out, I'm kind of curious to see how they do it. Or it can just be as simple as you getting inserted into a regular raid 5 to 10 minutes after the fact, or later depending on how they want to do it. So either A, they'll deliberately leave some slots open to allow players to come in a little afterwards, or they start inserting players as players start dying. If that's the case, that means the raid time may run a little on the longer side. Alright, and so here's some interesting tidbits about the lore. So it's stated that the world became this way because of a mass human exodus due to an ecological disaster. So this implies the machines either came later or evolved from something left behind. Now, it was stated they're going to have various locations for maps, and because of the fact that machines aren't necessarily the ones that took over the entire planet, it's going to allow to have various biomes at different locations. So you may have 2 or 3 maps from a particular region, another 2 or 3 maps from a different region. It kind of allows them to play around a little bit rather than being stuck in a particular set of textures or biomes or whatever. Maybe allows them to play with weather a little bit, things of that nature. Who knows? Another lore tidbit is that the, quote, colony where you reside is large but fractured. The portion you operate in is just a neighborhood. Again, this gives us some possibilities. For starters, that implies possible different human factions. That, along with the likelihood of the machines not being the world-ending threat, removes any notion that the humans have an overarching reason to be cooperative. And this is within their own living situation, much less once you're out raiding. This also opens the door for expanding the lore in terms of larger human conflicts, new traders, and mission givers as characters, allegiances, reputation, etc. Now, I know there's a lot of speculation, but those 2 pieces of lore give us a clue as to the possible direction of the future. Now, they've also announced the next playtest will take place on October 24th through the 27th. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend checking out their Steam page and signing up for that playtest. If you want people to group up with, check out my Discord link down below, as well as the Caliber Collective for many other titles. The investor presentation discusses several trends in gaming and their mindset for how the game fits into it all, a discussion I dive deep into in the video linked above. Not much more info regarding the game to parse through, but if you wanted to check that video out for yourself, I'll link it in the description. If you've enjoyed this video and are looking for more info on extraction games, Arc Raiders in particular, I encourage you to subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you for watching, and good hunting.